Coach say is that the tee is underrated. No question about it. All right. If you coach T-ball, I think they give you a tee. Is that correct? Anybody know that? All right. What they call a rookie league, right? You get a tee. If you're going to do anything, if you're going to buy anything, buy another tee. So now, again, instead of one kid hitting off the tee, now you got two kids. Send half of them down the right field line, send half of them down the left field line, take the other half, and put them in the infield and do ground. All right. So you got, then you could have three groups. All right. Now, Coach Beebe's going to do some pitching, and he doesn't realize I use three halves there. All right. So Coach is going to do some pitching stuff. Now, even if you're teaching the rookie league kids, all right, or the pitching machine kids where they're not pitching, all right. You can use this, number one, for throwing mechanics, or don't be afraid if you have enough people to let those kids pitch. They'll love it. All right? They'll absolutely love it. If you've got an extra adult, hey, Johnny, we got enough guys shagging flies, go pitch to Mr. Fred or something like that. All right? They'll love it. You can use this for throwing mechanics or for pitching.
Thanks, Coach. One of the things that I always try to think about is that, number one, I don't have kids. Eventually, someday I will, but I always try to put myself in the position of a father or a coach who's teaching or coaching a little league guy, and go from there and work from there. But one of the things that I would do is if I did have kids, I would have my kids pitch for the following reasons. I would have a pitch because it shows and it allows him to learn leadership skills. When you're pitching, you're in control. You're in the command center. You're working hard and you're involved in every play. The play starts with you and it ends with you. And it's a terrific opportunity for a kid perhaps who maybe doesn't have those leadership skills, that confidence yet, to be able to get up there and get in front of everybody, in front of the parents, in front of his teammates, the other team, and really try to do well. Okay? No matter how he does, right? Whether he gives up 6 or 7 runs or whether he gives up 0, okay? I guess the point is that he's getting that out of it, right? He's learning those skills, and that's a great thing. When I was a little kid, I was one of those shy kids, and I didn't come out of my shell till I was probably in high school. But when I got the opportunity to pitch, it really kind of released my personality. It released me as more of a leader. I guess I would advocate to anybody to allow your kid to pitch and get everybody in the game in terms of pitching at the same time. Give everybody that opportunity. Because like Coach said, everybody loves it. All right? You need to be the center of attention there. And you never know how kids can flourish in that particular role. So that's a very important thing. And that's the way that I try to look at it and whatnot. It's just a great thing in general. Now, if you take a look at your packet and follow along with me, the first thing it says, a couple keys to pitching. Basically 3 that we talk about all the time. The first one is get ahead. Teach coaching or your son to be able to throw first pitch strikes. That's going to make the process that much easier and that much more successful for him. First pitch strikes. That's really the key. If you watch a Major League Baseball game, I'm not sure exactly what the percentage is, but if the pitcher throws a first pitch strike, okay, the chances of him getting that guy out are pretty good. All right, so that's number 1. Number 2, eventually down the road, we need to be able to change speeds. And at the Little League level, they can certainly do that just as well as they can at the high school level or at a collegiate level. All right? And we'll talk a little bit about developing a certain changeup or any type of off-speed pitch, okay, that perhaps isn't going to put a lot of strain on their arm. Okay. Number 1 thing that I've learned is that a kid probably shouldn't be throwing breaking balls, sliders, and those types of things until he's probably 15 years old. If he doesn't have command of his fastball yet, if he can't throw a good 2-seam fastball, he can't throw a good 4-seam fastball, that's the best pitch in baseball. And it's still that way. It hasn't changed. The best pitch in baseball is a good, hard fastball. You really need to develop that before we go any further. And I think that's important. Not only will that encourage arm strength, okay, and a healthy arm, hopefully, but again, that's the most important thing. That hard fastball, okay? You'll see that it says change 10 to 15 miles per hour in between your fastball and perhaps maybe we'll say your circle changer. And that's the key with disrupting the timing of the hitter. And that's all really it needs to be. 10 to 15 miles an hour. The best pitchers in the game of baseball who are able to do that, Greg Maddux, Tom Glavine, okay, over the years, have really been successful. And they don't necessarily throw the hardest. Okay, Greg Maddux, I think, topped off, eventually when he first came in, he was throwing close to 90. By the end of his career, of course, he was throwing in the low 80s. So, again, 10 to 15 miles per hour, and that will be the big difference. That will be the big difference in success. And then the last thing is location. The plate is basically 17 inches across. If you can utilize 1 to 2 inches outside on the inside corner and 1 to 2 inches on the outside corner, you are able to use and utilize the whole plate. And typically umpires, right, will give you that if you hit the target, and that opens the zone up a little bit. Right? All too often, sometimes, if you watch a major league game, specifically in the American League, what do you notice? The strike zone is what? It looks like a postage stamp. It's like a sugar cube. You have to throw it right down the middle for it to be a strike, essentially. And that's really not the way that it should be. I mean, a good umpire, you've probably heard this before, is typically a pitcher's umpire. Because it keeps the game moving, and I at least like to think about it that way. All right, and I always appreciate the umpires who opened up their zone a little bit. Right now, what we have for you is a series of drills that will, number one, help you guys develop arm strength, allow them to develop basically confidence and control of their pitches, and that's really what it's all about. When I played and when I coach, I think it's very important that I know two things after a kid gets done pitching. How hard is he throwing, okay, and the movement that he has on the pitches. How hard is he throwing and the movement on the pitches, okay? So those are two keys, and as a hitter, I think you kind of ask yourself the same things. When a leadoff hitter goes up to the plate, he's the first guy who's the guinea pig. He comes back to the dugout, what does he do? He tells the guys, number one, this guy's throwing this hard. Number two, he's got this breaking ball, he's got a changeup, okay, it goes blown away, it goes there. That's the information that you need. That's the key information. So that's very important, and I think you should keep that framework as you continue to coach the Clarence kids. That's very important. Now, the first drill that we have is very simple. All right, and all these drills are very simple, and they seem to be the same drills over and over. And if you watch a major league video or any type of video, they seem to always be the same drills. But some guys just do it a little bit better than others, and that's basically the idea. The first one is the towel drill. Okay, and Brandon Bilecki is going to come and work with Mike Rademacher. And basically, what we're doing is we're working on number one, balance, okay, but we're also working on letting the pitcher get long, okay? The longer that he can get, the better. And Mike Rademacher's sake, he's about 6'3". It's a lot easier for him than it is for Brandon Bilecki, who stands at about 5'11", okay? Still pretty good height, but still, you can tell that there's going to be a big difference. But what we want him to do is we want him to be able to get long and get that towel all the way out to Mike Rademacher's hand, okay? So we'll just do it 10 to 15 times, basically, and go ahead, Brandon. Okay. Reaching out, getting long. Okay, the more that he can shorten out the distance from the pitcher's mound to home plate is going to be the key. All right, you take a look at, keep going, a lot of pitchers around the major leagues. That's really the key, to shorten up the distance, because then the hitter has less time to react. And that's really the big thing. That's really the big thing. Randy Johnson for all those years, 6'11", okay, when he pitches the baseball and he finishes up, guess what? He's right on top of it, okay? Number one, it probably intimidates the hitter a little bit, but it just makes it a lot more difficult to be able to hit. So that's our towel, all right? The second